Do you remember where you were exactly 3 years ago? It was the moment the K-pop world stood still because of a single 2-minute video. Today marks a truly historic day for the entire fandom. Imagine this: YG Entertainment, the powerhouse that birthed legends like Big Bang, 2NE1, and Blackpink, finally opened their mystery box after years of silence. And who was the first to emerge? Who was the individual carrying the weight of millions of expectations on her shoulders? At that time, her name was Haram. Today, we know her as Ramy. She is the vocal queen who did not just debut, but immediately shook the global music industry while she was still officially a trainee. Did you know she's the only trainee in the world to hit number 8 on the Billboard Hot Trending Songs chart with a live performance? That is not just luck, that is pure talent and undeniable presence. Today, we are going back to where it all started, to break down how this introduction video changed the standards for K-pop trainees forever. To understand the impact of Ramy, we have to look back at the atmosphere of early 2023. The K-pop community was starving for news. YG Entertainment had not debuted a girl group in 7 years, since Blackpink in 2016. The speculation on social media was intense. Whenever a light was on late at the YG building, fans assumed the new group was practicing. Finally, YG released the YG Next Movement teaser. The very first video they dropped was a live performance by a 15-year-old girl named Haram. The vibe of that video was different. There was no flashy stage or expensive costumes. It was just the iconic black and white practice room, a chair, and a standing mic. There sat a girl with long hair, looking incredibly calm, but her eyes showed she was ready to dominate. International fans were instantly captivated. People questioned if she was the next great vocalist of the generation. Within hours, the video went viral across the globe. The name Haram became the top trending topic because the voice coming out of that 15-year-old was far beyond her years. Let us look closer at that legendary performance. She covered I Don't Wanna Know by Mario Winans. This was a very bold choice. It's a classic R&B track that requires immense soul and technical control. While most trainees might choose a safe pop song or an upbeat dance track, Ramy chose to showcase her raw vocal ability. From the first note, the quality was evident. Her voice was deep and husky, yet clear at the same time. Her vocal runs were seamless. You could feel the emotion in every lyric. Despite being only 15, she conveyed the heartbreak of the song perfectly. Even in a black and white video, her aura was undeniable. She possessed the sophisticated and elegant visual style associated with her agency, with a unique vocal power. Netizens noted she had the presence of both an actress and a diva. While many compared her to her seniors, everyone agreed that Ramy had a distinct vocal color. The global reaction was massive. Music producers and fans worldwide were shocked to learn she was still a trainee. They noted that her voice sounded like a seasoned professional rather than an amateur. This was the beginning of her Billboard history. The most incredible part of this story is the Billboard achievement. Entering a Billboard chart is difficult, even for established artists with massive marketing budgets. Ramy achieved this before she had an official debut, an album, or even a stage name. Her cover of I Don't Wanna Know resonated so strongly that it climbed to number 8 on the Billboard Hot Trending Songs chart. A trainee sitting on a chair in a practice room with no TV promotion was ranked alongside the top artists in the world. This record remains hard to believe. She is the first and only trainee to accomplish such a feat. It proved that true vocal quality cannot be ignored. The world was looking for raw talent, and Ramy delivered it. Music critics often refer to this as the Ramy effect. She set an incredibly high bar for the rest of the group. The public realized that if the first member was this capable, the entire group would be a force to be reckoned with. Ramy became the powerhouse that defined the identity of her group as a vocal-focused ensemble. 3 years have passed, and much has changed. We saw her journey through the final evaluations and her official debut as Ramy. Watching her now on stage performing hit songs, we can see her transformation. She has become more confident and her dancing has sharpened, but her voice remains just as chilling during every high note. She is no longer just the trainee in the black and white room, she is now a vocal powerhouse of the 5th generation. January 11th, 2023 will always be remembered as the day the world was introduced to one of the finest talents in K-pop history. Ramy proved that true talent will always find its way to the global stage.
What was your first memory of seeing Ramy 3 years ago? Were you someone who immediately recognized her talent, or did you spend hours researching who this mysterious girl was? Do you think any other trainee in the future will be able to break her Billboard record, or is she truly a once-in-a-lifetime talent? Let us know what you think. If you're proud of how far she has come, make sure to share this with others.
Beyond the initial shock of her debut video and that historic Billboard entry, the conversation surrounding Ramy's introduction often turns toward the specific YG vocal heritage she was destined to inherit. For decades, YG Entertainment has been known for a very specific vocal color, one that prioritizes soul, unique timbre, and emotional delivery over the cookie-cutter perfection found elsewhere in the industry. When Ramy hit those low, resonant notes in her cover of Mario Winans, she wasn't just singing a song, she was validating the agency's legacy while simultaneously modernizing it. Fans began to dissect her technique, noting that her stability was reminiscent of a veteran performer. This sparked a massive wave of vocal analysis videos across YouTube and TikTok, where vocal coaches expressed disbelief that a teenager could maintain such consistent breath control while sitting down, a position that notoriously makes singing more difficult. This period of her introduction also served as a masterclass in minimalist marketing. In an era where K-pop teasers are often filled with high-budget CGI, rapid-fire editing, and extensive designer streetwear, Ramy's video was a stark contrast. The decision to keep the video in monochrome and focus solely on her voice was a strategic move that stripped away all the distractions. It forced the audience to look her in the eye and listen to the texture of her voice. This less is more approach created a sense of intimacy that is rare in the idol-trainee relationship. It felt as though we were witnessing a private moment in a practice room rather than a calculated corporate launch. This authenticity is exactly what helped her build such a loyal international fan base before she even had a chance to step onto a music show stage. Furthermore, we must discuss the cultural impact of her name change from Haram to Ramy. While the initial introduction as Haram created a strong identity, the transition to Ramy signaled a rebirth. In many ways, Ramy represents the artist she chose to become, whereas Haram represented the trainee who was first introduced to us. This evolution is a key part of her narrative. It shows a young woman who is coming into her own, gaining autonomy over her image and her career. When she finally debuted, the Billboard Trainee title followed her, but she didn't let it define her entire career. Instead, she used it as a foundation to build a more complex artistry. She proved that she could handle the pressures of being a vocal ace while also mastering the intense choreography and stage presence required of a modern-day idol. The ripple effect of her debut also influenced how other agencies introduced their trainees. After seeing the massive success of Ramy's live performance video, there was a noticeable shift in the industry toward more raw and live talent showcases. More groups started prioritizing live singing in their teasers, hoping to capture even a fraction of the viral magic that Ramy generated. However, what many failed to replicate was the specific combination of her age and her soulfulness. It is rare to find a performer who is so young yet possesses a voice that sounds as if it has lived 1,000 lives. This is why, even 3 years later, her introduction video remains a blueprint for how to launch a main vocal into the global spotlight. Looking back, that January day was more than just a promotional window. It was the birth of a new standard. Ramy didn't just break a record on Billboard, she broke the mold of what we expected from a trainee. She showed us that the gap between a student and a master can be incredibly thin when the talent is genuine. As we watch her continue to dominate charts and capture hearts today, we can see the direct line leading back to that black and white room. Every high note she hits today is an echo of that first performance. She has lived up to every ounce of the hype, proving that she wasn't just a viral moment, but a lasting icon. The journey from that first chair to the global stage is a testament to her hard work, and as she continues to grow, we can only imagine the new heights she will reach. The Billboard Trainee has truly become a Billboard legend in the making. Thank you for revisiting this historic moment with us. See you in the next update.